I'm Jellyfish. I know most people know me as a Brawl Stars player, but in real life, I'm actually a teacher. And here's my badge to show that I'm a teacher. So today I'm gonna share some tips with you about how to deal with kids. So for some reason, kids always like stick with me, and then people always like, "Oh, Julie, why kids love you so much?" You know, people say that to me all the time. And then every time I work, the kids always try to sit with me, and then I barely see kids to sit with other teachers. And then, so I got 3 tips today. So the first tip is try to understand them. And be a very good listener. So in order to understand those kids, you need to be a good listener. So I remember one kid, like, he got very angry, and then for some reason, I don't know why that kid got very angry, because I wasn't involved and I wasn't there when that happened. So the other teacher came over and told me like, "Oh, Miss Julie, can you go take care of that kid? He seems pretty angry at me, and I have no idea why he's so angry at me. And I know he likes you more, so can you go like check him out and see what happened?" So I went to go ask him. I was like, "Oh, what happened? Why you look so angry? Did something happen?" So he told me that, "Oh, the other teacher, she doesn't understand me. All she does is just judge by what I did and just start yelling at me about what I did wrong." So I was like, "Okay, so what happened? What did she saw you do?" So he said that, "Oh, I pushed a person, and then she saw me push a person, so she got angry at me for pushing the person." So I asked him, "Did she ask you why did you push the person?" He said no. I was like, "Okay, so there's a problem. I see. Okay, so can you tell me why did you push the person?" So he told me that, "Oh, because that person was being mean to him, calling him names and saying a lot of mean stuff to him. He got angry. That's why he pushed the person." So I was like, "Oh, then obviously that both you and him did something wrong, not just you, right?" He said yes. "And then you got angry at her because she didn't listen to you when you tried to tell her what happened. She just started yelling at you, right?" He said yes. And then, so I told him to get the other person over here. So I asked the other person about the other person's story. And the other person said that, "Oh, he was just playing around. He didn't know that he would get angry over stuff like that." And he apologized to her and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it in that way. I actually meant it this and that instead of that." And so the other person listened and said, "Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you." And the other person said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you upset by saying those things." And then the boy, he also said sorry for pushing him. And they both apologized, and they both fine with each other, and they stopped playing together immediately and good friends again. So first tip, be a good listener. Second tip, you have to be their friends. So when you act like, "Oh, I'm the teacher, you do whatever I say," then you're gonna create that gap between you and the kid. So you have to make sure to get onto their level, and then try to act like you are their friends. I mean, not act. Be their friend, not act, my bad. You have to be their friend. So every time I work, I don't actually see my students as students. I see them as my friends. So second tip, get onto their level and be their friends. Make sure you are like one of them. And then my third tip is try to study them and understand them, because not every single kid are the same. You cannot do the same thing with all the kids. For example, if this girl likes drawing, then maybe you'll like hang out with her with something related to art, right? That kid, if he likes sports, then you try to hang out with him with something that's related to sports. If you try to hang out with a kid that likes sports and doesn't like drawing, that doesn't like art, then you're not gonna create that relationship to become their friend, right? So those are the 3 tips I have for you today. If you have any more questions on how to deal with kids in the future, or you have any questions for me about being a teacher, you can just comment below, or you can just contact me privately if you don't want to comment below in public. I'll see you next time.